I know how to run a mic. I can run a mic.
Y'all asked for it, okay? So this is what you get.
All right. Today, we got special guests. B and T, affectionately known as Mom and Dad, Poppy and Nana, Madre and Padre. It's my parental unit. See? My parental unit. Mine. So today we're gonna do a little quick segment. We're gonna start doing a new initiative called just interviewing different married couples, from clients that we've had to our parents to our friends. Those have been married for 50 years, those have been married for 2 years, those have been married for 6 months, just because I feel like there's so many different things that happen in marriage, and you mature and you grow as your marriage grows, as your union strengthens. And so everybody has their love story, but this is theirs. So where do we start? Where do y'all want to start? How long have you been married?
We just celebrated an anniversary, and
Yes.
which was wonderful.
Yes.
And for the first time, I didn't forget.
Praise the Lord.
So I'm gonna let her tell you how long
Yes, really? Okay. Because he thinks I forgot, which, how would I? Why would I? Or how could I? Anyway, so he's stumbling here because it's 42 years,
Absolutely.
Mr. Smith.
42.
42 years.
Let's give a round of applause to that. 42 years, y'all. 42. So, tell us a little about your love story. How you met, who kissed who at the water fountain, who invited somebody out for soda pops at the soda fountain. So, let's get into it. Tell us your love story. How you met.
Well, I had to change my voice to actually do it because it's a love story. Had to get deep with it, Actually, I'm not sure the first time that we actually met, but the time that we met was...
That's scary.
Actually, I was painting I was at church, and I was painting the outside of the church.
He was inside.
Well, I was inside once you arrived. That was part of the plan. And so, anyway, I think you were riding a bike. Were you riding a bike?
I was.
And this little church has a water cooler right in the vestibule, foyer, whatever you want to call it. There's the water cooler there. The old time, the big tank kind. And so, she came in for a drink of water, and I was up on the ladder. And so, and I needed a drink of water as well. So she
time I heard that.
She came in and got some water, and I'd actually had my eye on her for a while. To be honest about it.
The truth comes out.
So she came in and got a water, and then she came up from the fountain with the cold water dripping off her lip.
Wow.
I decided to give her a good kiss.
Right then and there.
Right then and there. And my thirst was quenched.
Oh my goodness. Am I red? Because I should be.
That's how we met, actually. If that's how the way. And,
is that how you recall your first encounter?
Maybe not as romantic as his.
Yeah.
However, coming from playing basketball at the court, rode my bike, stopped to get me some water, yes. And as he climbs down off the ladder and comes toward me, when he kissed me, I'm really freaking out because I thought he's awful forward. He doesn't, I don't really know him, and he doesn't know me. I know of him, but I don't know him. Mm-hmm. And especially not in that manner either. And so it frightened me.
Yeah.
And I ran like a scared rabbit and jumped on my bike and paddled up the hill. I lived about a block from the church. I was not happy with that, and I ran from him most of the time.
I thought you reciprocated. Maybe it was just my
No,
imagination
it was
running
your
away with me.
imagination. Yes. Just imagination.
Okay, so how do we get from there to where you're like, okay, maybe he's not as forward as I thought, or maybe he still is forward, but I'll give him a chance.
It took a while for me. It was a long while from my recount. I can't give you times, but I think it was a long while because he used to call and I would see him at the park. I was very athletic, so I would always go to the park and playing ball of some sort.
Yeah.
And I just tried to stay away from him. And I remember one time I was on my bike and he was running, and I'm on my bike paddling, and he's trying to keep up with me. But
Were you stalking Mom?
yes,
No, I wouldn't call it stalking.
What
At
would
that
you
time,
call
I
it?
was actually in track as well. So it was just a track workout for me.
wow. Oh my goodness. Phew, the things we find out years later. Nevertheless, yeah. And at some point, I think I really began to like him, but it was a long while later.
Okay, so what was your first impression of him, other than, like, the first impression outside of the forwardness of the water fountain? Like, once you started to get to know Dad, like, what was your first impression?
That was a long while. I didn't like him.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't like him.
And what was your first impression of Mom?
She's mine.
Well,
Oh my.
there's that. What age were y'all at when you got married?
I was 20,
21.
21. Yeah, I was 21.
I was actually 17.
You were 17.
Mm-hmm.
So getting married at a young age, what made you decide, one, to want to get married at that, like, at such a young age, and not to wait? Was it just, were y'all infatuated with each other? I was like, we're just going to get out of here?
There was a lot that happened over the years because we dated on and off for several years.
Okay.
And I think so at some point he lost interest.
Yeah.
Then he came back. I lost interest, and we were back and forth.
Back and forth for a while.
Yeah, and but I do remember as a young girl actually looking up to the sky and saying to the Lord, I wanted him to be my husband.
Aww.
And so, but a lot happened over the years. He had different girlfriends. Right. Yeah. He's straight. Some of them were my friends. Yeah.
Really? Okay. So
We won't mention names.
the question was, what made us decide to get married so young? One is, I think both backgrounds was not the traditional family backgrounds. In other words, we both had family units that had been fractured, with divorce or unfaithfulness or the typical stuff. So I think part of it was us. I think from the beginning and I'm not sure if we ever articulated or said it, but that divorce was not an option for us. Mm-hmm. I think later on in life we may have said that to each other at some point, but initially I don't think that. But I think that was something that in our hearts, we both desired for that not to come into our lives because of, on both sides of the family, because of what we experienced and going through. But for me personally, really, and I don't know what young boy would even do this, but I remember being at my Aunt Dorothy's, and she had like 13 kids. Well, there was always a bunch of kids there, but I think it was 13. I think I'm truthful in that. But so I remember being out in her yard playing with all the kids, and we were just doing things that kids do. We'd entertaining each other and just being goofy and for some reason, I remember actually just praying. And I guess I was maybe 8 or something like that. I remember praying that, I remember saying to the Lord, all I want in life is to have a family and to have a nice place for them to live. And I don't know what kid even prays that or thinks about that, but that was one of my earlier prayers in life, was that I would have a family and that I would take care of them. After being in and with cousins and going through all that and looking at some of the struggles and so forth, I just decided then that with God's help, even as a kid, that I didn't want that to happen to my family. And the other thing is, my mother finally said to me, leave her alone, or either you need to marry her. And I said, okay. And it startled her. And she didn't believe I would. But
I think the first time you asked me to marry you, I said no.
oh, did you?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear it. Early selective hearing. Engaged.
Is it possible to be married, to be honest with your significant other, your spouse, 100% of the time without hurting their feelings? Or do you feel like you can be honest 50% of the time and then just kind of just forget about other stuff?
What he's looking at me. Wow.
Well, I think part of the relationship and growing and because you never stop growing and you never stop learning these little interesting things about your spouse.
Right.
And I think that's part of what makes it interesting and still makes it exciting, because you find out something new that you didn't know. For me, I have a tendency to, I guess I use the word ruminate on issues or situations, or either you can say meditate, but where you just take something and you review it over and over and over until you come to a conclusion and you feel that, okay, this is the answer to it. But in terms of the honesty part, I think you can be honest 100% of the time. I think how you handle that and how much you divulge initially is what part of the nurturing and the growing part is all about. Because the truth is here and it has to be shared. You have the decision to make how you share it, when you share it, and how much of it that you share. Is that being dishonest? I don't think so. I think it's just being prudent and caring for somebody else. That's just the way it is.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay.
Because my answer would actually no, in that, yes, being honest,
Right.
but not sharing the full. If it was going to hurt him, then there would be some that I probably would not say.
So maybe it's like being honest, but bathing that honesty in a loving way that you can share it so it doesn't
Yeah.
cause damage.
Well, sometimes the timing's wrong,
Yes.
the atmosphere is wrong,
Yes.
and to do so might cause more damage than the truth itself,
Yes.
or what has to be said.
That's good.
Because quite often what has to be said it's a speed bump, it can be overcome, but how it's delivered could be, a valley.
I agree.
So.
Yeah, I agree.
So the average age, people are getting married in the U.S. is around 28. So would you all get married at an early age again?
For me, I would say yes,
Okay.
because I believe that he was my soulmate.
Okay.
And so, yeah. And again, I'll go back to looking into the sky and asking the Lord to make him my husband. And so,
I wouldn't wait. And I would again. I think it depends. Most people don't understand, and at least I didn't, and I guess I shouldn't expect people who are 28, 25, 27 to understand. Most of your decisions are based on life experiences, and then you got your family members, your core members. Then you got what you'd call, I guess, the peripheral circle of influence type things. Most of those are going to drive your decision or your opinion about life, and in some cases who to love and who not to love, who to,
Right.
and they won't acknowledge that, because I don't think I acknowledged it at that age. But nevertheless, they still have a tremendous amount of impact on your decision making.
Right.
So yes, I would be young and would do it again because of those things.
How have you maintained your friendship during your marriage? Have you maintained your friendship?
Mm-hmm.
And then what are things that you all like to do together?
Well, we can't tell you what we like to do together.
Well, I don't want to know. Well, I really don't care. You could tell it. It ain't gonna bother me. It's gonna bother her and him. It's not gonna bother me. But
Wow.
let's go to Walmart and Sam's Club. What are two things you don't like to mention? Wear it out. Wear it out.
Where else are we gonna go? But it's changed over the years. Like, we used to have date night every Thursday night. You probably should remember those.
Date night.
We had a date night. Y'all had pizza night. And so we would go, sometimes we'd go out to dinner somewhere. That is some of the funnest things we did. We'd go to an arcade place, which there are no more, and go play arcade games. Yeah. And so simple.
Right.
Just simple pleasures. Bobby likes being out in the yard. I think it's a stress relief for him. I try not to bother him when he's out there, but sometimes I do. But I'm trying to learn to do that maybe more, because I don't like just leave me in the house digging in the dirt. Too many different bugs for me, but I'm learning. Anyway, go ahead, hon.
Well, I think from the friendship part is, you ask yourself, well, what is a friend?
Mm.
And I've been challenged throughout life from other male mentors in my life. You need to have more friends, and I guess it's not in my social DNA makeup, I guess, if you will. And I know where it stems from. It stems from my childhood, where I was the second oldest, and I was the male second oldest, and having to assist my mom with different things, sort of stepping into a role that, as a kid, you just do it, it need to be done. So it has a little bit of been more of a self-sufficient type thing, which could be dangerous and is dangerous to a certain point. Because early in life, my attitude was, I don't need you as a friend. I mean, I don't need, not you, honey, but and by the grace of God, that has changed, and that was part of the whole metamorphosis, if you will, changing that took place. But